Hello, in this video I'm going to be going over evolution and the origin of life, okay? Some of these topics are going to be on your exam, so please watch carefully. And if you want access to this whiteboard that I'm using to explain everything, please let me know and I'll send you the link, okay? So let's start from the beginning. All right, our Earth is over 4.5 billion years old, okay? So if you're 14, 15, 16, your life, in comparison to the age of the earth is like the less than the blink of an eye, half of a blink of an eye. Okay? The earth is billions of years old. Okay? The oldest known fossils that we have are around 3.5 billion years old. Okay? These old fossils are called cyanobacteria. Okay, we know what bacteria are. They're prokaryotic. Cyanobacteria can carry out photosynthesis. Okay, they can make their own food and they produce oxygen as a byproduct of that process. Okay, in general, as a rule of thumb, all early life forms were single celled or unicellular, they were prokaryotic, and likely anaerobic. Okay, if you don't recall this term, anaerobic, anaerobic organisms don't require oxygen. If you're aerobic, you do require oxygen. Okay, so we would be aerobic, all right? Cellular respiration, for example, if you remember that, that's an aerobic process because it requires oxygen as a reactant. Okay, so anaerobic organisms, they don't need oxygen. Okay, we basically, from what we understand of Earth's atmosphere back in the day, it was different from what it looks like now. Okay, so now we have oxygen in our atmosphere, but very early on, it's probable that Earth's atmosphere had a low oxygen content, meaning that it would be difficult for aerobic organisms to survive, and that early life was anaerobic instead. Okay, so early life didn't need oxygen. All right. We didn't get eukaryotes. Remember, we're eukaryotic, right? Humans are eukaryotic. We didn't get eukaryotes until about 1.5 billion years ago. All right, so prokaryotic organisms are way older than us, way wiser than us. Okay? Remember that the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes is that prokaryotes don't have a nucleus. Okay? Eukaryotes do have a nucleus. Okay? Eukaryotes also have membrane-bound organelles. So if I were to draw my eukaryotic cell, it has a nucleus with its DNA inside the nucleus. Here, I'm going to just draw some DNA. Imagine this is a double helix. Okay? And then we're going to have different organelles, like, let's say, our ribosomes, little dots. I'm not going to make it too artistic. And then mitochondria. The mitochondria carry out cellular respiration. Then we have other, like lysosomes, okay? Different organelles, okay? Versus prokaryotes, they don't have a nucleus. Okay, I'm going to draw this prokaryote. They don't have a nucleus. Their DNA is kind of free floating inside of it, okay? And it doesn't have any of these membrane bound organelles, okay? All right. So there is a theory called endosymbiont theory that mitochondria and chloroplasts were once simple prokaryotic cells that were engulfed or swallowed by larger prokaryotes around 1.5 billion years ago. Okay, so this theory here, endosymbiont theory, is basically trying to explain how eukaryotic life emerged. Okay, how did we get eukaryotic cells? Well, maybe early on all life was prokaryotic until mitochondria or chloroplasts were absorbed, okay, into larger cells, okay, and they worked symbiotically. Okay, the relationship was beneficial for both parties. So here I have a little diagram to kind of show you what I mean. Here you have this host cell, this host cell, okay? Maybe it's prokaryotic, and then we have our mitochondria and some sort of bacteria or chloroplast, okay, that was once independent, that is now being engulfed or absorbed by this larger cell, okay? So now here on the right, we have what looks like a modern eukaryotic cell that has all these organelles inside of it, okay? So this is endosymbiont theory. It's the idea that we got our modern eukaryotic cells because um, early, prokaryotic cells merged together. Okay. What's interesting about mitochondria and chloroplasts is that they actually have their own unique DNA. Okay. So there's what's called mitochondrial DNA. There's actually DNA inside your mitochondria. So that DNA is separate from, the DNA in the nucleus of your cell. It's different, it's distinct. Okay, so that leads scientists to believe that mitochondria were actually once their own, independent, self-sufficient organisms, okay? All right. So let's move on to the Miller-Urey experiment. Okay? Okay. So these scientists wanted to model the conditions that they thought existed early on Earth. Okay, so our understanding is that Earth's early atmosphere didn't have any oxygen or very low oxygen content. It did have methane, ammonia, hydrogen, and water vapor. Okay, so scientists wanted to see if they could basically make organic molecules from scratch in a laboratory environment by mimicking Earth's Earth's atmosphere in the lab. Okay, so in here we have water H2O. Here, let me use my pointer. Over here we have water, which is H2O. CH4 is methane. NH3 is ammonia. H2 is hydrogen gas. Okay, so these are all the gases that we would have found in Earth's early atmosphere. Okay, and they're running an electrical current through it. The point of running an electrical current through this collection of gases is to mimic lightning. Okay, so this electric current is standing in for lightning that would have existed in Earth's early atmosphere. Okay, so they're seeing what happens when they pass this lightning through these gases. Are we able to form organic molecules? Okay, when I say organic molecules, I'm referring to amino acids, okay, which we know are the building blocks of proteins, which are very important because they carry out many functions in our cells, okay? So if we can make amino acids in a laboratory, we're almost kind of creating life in a sense, okay? And they were able to actually create amino acids. Okay, so they were actually able to do a complete like simulation, um, and they demonstrated how life could have formed early on the Earth. Okay. All right. Now let's talk a little bit about humans. Okay, and our evolution. Okay. One trend you need to know is that over time, um, over the course of human evolution, our brain size has tripled. Okay, the modern human brain is the largest and most complex of any living primate. Okay, so when we say primates, um, that's actually the order we belong to as humans, or Homo sapiens. That's our scientific name. or Homo sapiens. Homo meaning man, okay? So we belong to this order of primates, which includes lemurs, monkeys, and apes, okay? What's distinct about us is that we have forward-looking eyes, so we're not like, fish who have eyes on the sides of their heads. We have very large brains, and flexible hands and feet. Okay. We also have a rotating shoulder joint. Okay. So if you rotate your arm and you make big circles like you're stretching, that's something that's unique about us. Imagine we need to, be able to rotate our shoulders in order to grab from tree to tree. Okay. We also evolved to be bipedal. Bi meaning two. Okay. When you see that prefix, it means two. All right, so if you think of a bicycle, it has two wheels, okay? Bipedal means that we're walking on 2 feet, okay? So instead of walking on all fours, we're walking on our 2 feet, and our hands are free to gather food, to forage, to carry infants. We can use our hands to fashion tools. Okay, so that's one advantage that we have. And we can also, because we're standing up, our line of sight is much better. We can see farther. Okay, we can see, predators in the distance. Okay, so that is, one advantage. All right. So over time, our spines have taken on more of an S shape. Okay, because we're standing up straight. Um, our brain size has increased. Okay, so scientists, when they talk about different organisms, they use what's called a scientific name. Okay, so there's common names for things and scientific names. Okay, scientific names are two-parters. Okay, and they're two-parters because we use this system called binomial nomenclature. Again, bi meaning two. Okay, so we have two names basically. So here, to give you an example, for humans, our scientific name is Homo sapiens. Okay, and we have two names. Word one, Homo. Word two, sapiens. Okay, Homo means man. Okay, so the first part of our scientific name is called the genus. Okay, the first word is our genus. So for humans, our genus is Homo. Okay, the second part is our species descriptor. So for humans, our species descriptor is sapiens. Okay, so if we're talking with scientists and they want to refer to humans, by their scientific name, they'd call us, Homo sapiens, because they're using this system called binomial nomenclature. Okay? There are other closely related species that belong to the same genus as us. Remember, we belong to the genus Homo. An example of a species that belongs to our genus would be Homo neanderthalis. Homo neanderthalensis, okay? Homo neanderthalensis. These are the Neanderthals, okay? From what I understand, the correct pronunciation is Neanderthal, like tall, not Neanderthal with a TH sound. Okay, so here's a little recreation of what he looked like. All right. The Neanderthals coexisted with humans at the same time. However, the Neanderthals died out, and modern humans or Homo sapiens have Neanderthal DNA. The Neanderthals competed with humans and eventually died out. One theory is that they had low numbers, so they started inbreeding, which was not good for them. Another theory is that they died out due to climate, severe climate, like the weather was very cold and that negatively affected them. Okay, but they're kind of like our brothers and sisters. They belong to the same genus as us, the genus